Well, what is up, all of you Ugnaughts and Jawas out there, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. We're so thankful and appreciative that you somehow found your way here because we just appreciate any kind of support that we get. So, if you want to continue to further your support of our YouTube channel, click subscribe to our channel to continue to see some Star Wars content. Like this video, it helps it to get out there to others. We would really appreciate it. I also have another plug, Discord. Click the Discord link if you want to just chat and talk with some Star Wars fans. We have a Discord wide open for that. We have a lot of fun there. So do those two things for me. Subscribe to our channel and check out our Discord for further conversation between you and us here at Mando Talk. We would have a lot of fun. So, if the title of this video was not clear, we are getting into spoilers of the Bad Batch Episode 9 titled Bounty Lost. So, again, if you have not seen that episode, click away from the video, then come back. That would be best for you because I don't want to spoil it for you. So, we're about to do this, getting into spoilers. Come back to us once you have seen it. So let's do it. First thing off the top of this episode, we just get an immediate check-in. Crosshair's vessel is firing on the Bad Batch, and they have to jump into hyperspace in order to survive, to basically escape from Crosshair just hammering them. But it's good to see Crosshair, doing okay after last week, the way that we left him. Also, update, Cad Bane was in fact working for Lama Sue and the Kaminoans. I think we kind of predicted that. That was kind of something that just, added together nicely. But we get an interesting scene here. Tan Wei is assigned to going to the abandoned facility on Bora Viao to recover Omega. Second thing, Lama Sue states that once the genetic material needed from Omega has been extracted, to then terminate her, which is to the displeasement of Nala Se. I hope I'm saying those Kaminoan names correctly, but regardless, a lot of information there. Clearly, Lama Sue is just interested in getting her genetic material, then wiping her, and we'll talk more about that genetic material here in a bit. But next up, and actually, it's right now. It comes next in the episode. We get an answer, finally, behind what makes Omega so important. And I think this show, we were dying to know that information, and I'm glad the show finally recognized it. We get the information that Omega has pure first-generation DNA and is a pure genetic replication of Jango Fett. The only other one is Boba Fett. Somebody that we all know and love. Now, does this mean that she is a Fett? I mean, am I completely interpreting this wrong? But does this not confirm that Omega is Boba's long-lost sister? And if that's the case, then I think there is no doubt we are eventually going to see you, Boba Fett, in the Bad Batch. And, my mind's even racing so much as to say, who knows, we could see a Omega flashback scene in Book of Boba Fett somehow, somewhere. I don't know. My head's cranking. Do you interpret this the same way as me? Is Omega, in fact, a Fett? Jump down in the comments and let me know. Next up in the episode, Omega fixes Toto's leg to gain trust, but then shuts Toto down in order to escape. Omega then uses her comm device to try to contact the Bad Batch and give them their location, but Bane steps in. And we think it's going to go downhill from there, but this is where it turns and becomes very interesting. Tan Wei is killed by Fennec Shand, who shows up, and it's interesting that Cad Bane knows her. That was a really cool scene. And they just have this duke it out session, this shootout, following Toto taking the case of credits. So Fennec was going to give the credits in exchange for Omega, but that is not what goes down. And we get some great action between the two. And we see Omega kind of break away, and there's this really interesting moment where she goes into this room that has these green tubes filled with Kaminoans, which was very interesting. And, anytime you see something like that, you just, get that darkness vibe. But pretty cool scene. Then Omega then again continues to try to send her signal and attempt to escape while Fennec and Bane continue to duke it out. So Omega then officially, after having a conversation with Fennec there for a minute about, her need to get away, her need to be more independent, Fennec's motive, Fennec trying to, look out for her, actually. Fennec's trying to persuade her to go with her. Obviously, Omega doesn't trust that. She just wants to get back with the Bad Batch. So Omega then does break away again. Once Bane kind of comes to, Fennec has to, duke it out with him yet again. And Omega gets on a pod while that fighting session of Fennec and Bane just keeps going down. And I loved the fighting that we got this week between Bane and Fennec. Although I guess I do have one complaint about it, and it's not a big complaint. It's just that, we know Fennec survives. We know Fennec is around for the time of The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, so there isn't really high stakes whenever they're fighting. And for me, I was just mentally worried the whole time, like, are they really going to go ahead and kill off Cad Bane, even though we just got his epic return last week? And I'm glad they didn't do that. I'm glad they stuck to them to really just 50-50 in it as far as fighting goes, so that was good to see. Now, the rescue. The Bad Batch actually rescues Omega from that pod. We thought that pod was crashing, but in fact, the Bad Batch arrives, and that happened a lot. I mean, a lot quicker than I expected. I thought this was going to be kind of like the next half of the season's main story, was how to get Omega back, and Omega was going to be challenged, and Omega was going to be with Kaminoans, and we were going to figure out more answers, and we got answers this week, but just in different ways than I thought. And yeah, I'm totally happy with the Bad Batch already rescuing Omega, because that means there's just more story that we're going to hit in this season. So that's always incredible. But Cad Bane tries to then, go after Omega one more time. But Fennec Shand actually sabotaged his ship, his vessel. So he's not able to get back in the mix. So he's still alive and well at the end of this episode. And the big twist occurs at the end of this. I thought they were going to do this thing where they show the hologram and didn't show the face. They didn't reveal who the character was. I thought they were going to do that again, but I'm glad they didn't. They went ahead and showed that it was Nala Se, the Kaminoan. So Fennec Shand has not been working for Lama Sue. She has not been, trying to get Omega back to the Kaminoans to take that genetic material away from her. She is secretly working for Nala Se. I think that's a huge takeaway from this episode, that Nala Se, cares enough about Omega to want to save her, and clearly she's risking it all doing this to the side, trying to save Omega. But that is where the episode ends. Omega does end up getting back with the crew. Like I said, a lot quicker than expected, but I'm happy to see it. But a lot of interesting things in this episode. On last night's live stream, I specifically stated that I thought this episode was going to be a lull. I thought it was going to be downplayed a little bit, and I am pleased that I was way wrong. A lot of information here. We got that Cad Bane was officially working for the Kaminoans. I think that was something that we already kind of knew. We got that Omega was pure first-generation DNA and is a pure genetic replication of Jango Fett. So in my mind, I'm considering her now as a Fett and Boba Fett's long-lost sister. You let me know. Am I interpreting that wrong? Please call me out if I am, or please tell me if I am interpreting it correctly so I don't sound or feel so crazy, because that's one of those things where I'm like, man, that's crazy to think about. I love that idea, but it's so crazy that I don't know if it's true. So let me know what you think about that. But other than that, yeah, Fennec and Bane have this great shootout, so that was good to see. And that wraps up the episode. And obviously Fennec secretly working for Nala Se. So a lot of info. I can't wait to talk about this episode more with Zach on Monday. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you see that. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope you really enjoyed episode 9. Let me know what you thought of episode 9 in the comments. And that's all I got. So deuces, and we have spoken.